What makes this small, gray, weathered stone surrounded by a green metal cage in an empty church parking lot so special?
So this border was laid in 1791 or 1792.
Barely a foot and a half off the ground on King Street, Alexandria's Southwest 3 boundary stone used to be the D.C. border. Today, it's hard to believe this area of Virginia, and in fact much of Old Town too, used to be considered Washington.
There's still some writing on this side over here that at one point told you that you were in the District of Columbia.
Welcome back Alexandria's very own historian Dan Lee for this one. Dan says it all started when in Article 1 of the Constitution, both Virginia and Maryland were made to give up 10 square miles that would become a part of the district. That territory was marked by boundary stones just like this one laid out in a square pattern.
They were laid by a group of surveyors, among others Benjamin Banneker, one of the first African-American federal employees, at least on a contract.
Just to get a glimpse, Dan and I had to clear our own path through traffic cones and construction. That's how low-key these things are. Today, 36 of the original 40 stones are still around, some in better condition than others.
Some of them were eroded, some of them have been refurbished. It's a labor of love for many people, and that's why they exist today.
Dan says there's a larger effort at work to preserve all of these stones in the DMV today. The one we're at has been kept safe by the Daughters of the American Revolution.
It's just kind of in a parking lot. It's kind of a sign of how times have changed in Alexandria, and yet the history has been preserved.
And as cool as it was to see this stone, Dan told me there's even more evidence buried deeper in Old Town that shows how these Virginia-D.C. borders shifted hundreds of years ago. More on that in my Thursday story. Until our next adventure, I'm Matt Kaufax with Dan at the Southwest 3 boundary stone, WTOP News. For more stories like this, download and listen to WTOP Radio on our app or tune in to 103.5 FM.